What is going on, guys? Welcome once again to another Buy the Dips, Sell the Rips video. And boy, are we excited because we've been cooking this week. Oh my goodness. We almost hit a 1000x. You guys are not going to want to miss this week, man. Super excited. We're going to jump right into it. I'm going to look at a couple dips, a couple rips that I feel could happen. And let's dive right into it. And there's going to be some potential coins that actually could come down and we get some really good entries. So to kick it off, guys, let's start with Optimistic. Yes, guys, if you were inside the Boltz Alpha, caught this puppy at 21K, and boy, are we up almost at 80x on this one. It's currently sitting at 1.2 mil. Recently, all-time high of 1.5. I still think this potentially actually cooks a little bit harder and could see a nice boost higher. But what would be an ideal entry? Of course, if you were inside Boltz Alpha, you got the best entry out of everything. But if you were not inside Boltz Alpha, what are you kind of looking for in case we get a dip? Now, remember, this is all going to be based on market conditions. If the market stays the way it currently is, we could see an uptick. If it doesn't, we will see a downtick. And I'm going to give you two entries based on that. Okay, so let's start off with the first entry on this one. And positioning I'm looking to get here is I'm trying to get here like under 1 million. So like 1.1 to like 900. That's kind of like where I'm going to first initially think this kind of comes down to. So we're going to put this right here, guys, at the 1 million mark. I think anything around there with that 1.1 and 1 mil, ideal entry in case this keeps rising and going up. Now, there is going to be a great possibility that if the market starts kind of coming down a little bit, we might see a lower dip on this one. And what kind of dip are we looking here? It's somewhere like around 800 to 600K. That is kind of like where we're seeing kind of like very similar to this correction and that boost. It just depends on how badly the market gets. If the market stays the way it is, we potentially see that 1 mil dip and then higher highs. If it kind of comes down, you're going to be looking at something like around here, like around 800, around this range. But I'm going to put it a little bit lower just because I kind of right now, very hard to feel what the market's doing because the market hasn't really opened up yet. But that's kind of like the range. I know it's a little bit bigger range than usual, but that's what we're looking at if you're trying to get to this one. Still think this actually does pretty well, very memeable. I've seen a lot of big accounts actually posting this, and some people kind of are a little bit sidelined, so I still think it has the potential of actually going higher. The next one we're going to mention is Chibi, and I mentioned this one, guys, 32K entry. We also went ahead and called it back at 800K, so somewhere around here. We'll put it right here. That's kind of like where we did the Boltz Alpha call. From here, guys, it ran up all the way to 900, almost hitting that 12x from that call right there, recall on the 800 count. And then now it's kind of looking like it's correlating back up here. For this one in particular, to be quite frank with you guys, I'm a little bit disappointed because this particular coin should theoretically have hit at least 20 mil, okay, in my opinion. Currently right now, just the trenches are a little bit off right now, but it still went up to 10. If you guys were inside Boltz Alpha, when we called it at 800, they asked me, where do you think this is going? I said 8 million, and it did what it did. So a lot of really good prints there for the people inside Boltz Alpha. But I still think it has a potential to run. I still people bull pulsing it. Elon kind of just updated his profile, his PFP. So that got changed. They're running a contest. So really good upside on this one will give you still a couple X's, I think, potentially on this. 4.3 mil, not a bad entry, but we kind of want to see that 3.3 mil. I don't know, it's going to come back down now just because people keep tweeting about it. But in particular, 3.3 would be amazing. But still, I think from that 4 million range, it theoretically could possibly on a beautiful catalyst give you a nice little 2x if you're not in it and you're silent. So that's where I'm looking to add right there within this range. But if you were in Boltz Alpha, you guys are up big. The next one we're looking at, guys, is cards. And you guys know I mentioned this one a lot. The reason I want to mention cards is because if the market has a really downtrend and we kind of see a downtrend, I think it's going to give us that entry we've been kind of waiting for right here, roughly at that 7.8 mil range. So something around 8 to 7. If the market kind of comes down a little bit, that is the range where we're trying to accumulate. We're trying to get in here. Where I think potentially we should see a beautiful upside if we do get within that range of under 10 million. Right now it's at 9.5, but we theoretically want to catch this around that 7 mil range. So I think potentially this one gives you a nice return if we're able to catch it within this zone. Somewhere between 8.7 to 7.8, I think would be ideal. And we're hoping the market stays good. But if it doesn't, I just want to give you guys a heads up that, listen, really good entry on cards if you're not in it. The next one we're going to take a look at is Buttcoin, and this one's doing amazing from our previous 4 million call right here that ran up to a nice, beautiful, plus 12x. But we're still looking for the upside on this one. Kind of right now, it's on the uptrend, so I wouldn't be like, yo, guys, get in it right now. This is once again market condition. In case the market kind of tip tops a little bit here, we're looking to re-enter around this 10 million range and possibly 8 mil. Okay, so we're kind of looking at this range where we're like, if the market kind of tippy topples a little bit, it'll come down around this range, and we think it will have a potential of bouncing back up once the market corrects itself. So once again, this is more like a gamble that the market kind of has like a little bit of a downtrend, and we're able to kind of soup it up here. If it doesn't, then we'll just skip by it and let it go. The next one we have, guys, is Testicle, and this is very, very similar to Buttcoin, very similar play here where we're expecting the market to correct itself. It already had this 2.5 run up to almost 10 mil. So a nice little 3 to 4x there. What I'm waiting for is the market correction. So we don't get a market correction. I do see this kind of coming down like around this 4 mil range and kind of just hovering and staying in there. But if we do get a market correction, we actually might be able to get within this range of 2.7 again. So it's something to keep an eye on. I would definitely keep an eye here at this 4.8, see what happens here, maybe add a little bit and see if we could write it up. If not, for some reason, the market still kind of tipple topples today, then we're going to kind of get into this nice little zone of the 3 mil range there. So another one to keep an eye on. The next one is Wojak, and this is literally the make it or break it zone. Remember, we talked about this prior to this boost that we had right here at the same mark to that run up to almost 5 mil, so almost giving us a nice little 2x here, at least at 80%. Right now, it's currently at that state again. So right now, it came down all the way to 3.2, 3.3. It's holding, but with a market push, we might see that 2.5. With the market dip, I would say we might see that 2.5. That would be the ideal entry. If it goes any lower than that, I think Wojak, we could kind of be like, you know what? It was beautiful. Awesome idea. But it might be over if it comes below that. I don't think it comes below that. I think a lot of people are still very optimistic about this meme. It has a really good potential. 3.3 is not a bad entry, but there's still a possibility it could come down to 2.5. That is where I would think and be like, okay, well, maybe it's time for me to kind of put a little bit of position. The market corrects itself. It gives us a nice little 2x to 80%. So really one that I wanted to mention. The next one is Kled, and this one's holding very, very well here around this 12 million range, which is what we talked about. Still bullish on this coin, not because so much of the tech, not so much because of the what it's able to do, because still it's just kind of like like a meme coin. But I think with the market correction, we could probably see something around this 8 mil to 10 mil range. And that's kind of like where I want to get in here. So anything below 10 mil, it's kind of like where I want to get into this one. 12 is not bad, but I want to get into this beautiful zone here where I think the dev is very bullish enough to actually, hype people up and give you a nice little 2x or 3x on this one. So really, pretty interesting here. We're looking for this buy zone though. The next one is PsyopAnime, and this is another one that I'm kind of hoping it comes down, okay? I'm already in this coin, but I didn't buy quite enough as I wanted to, and I kind of want to buy more, so I'm just waiting for it to come down just a little bit. Ideally, 2.8 would be amazing, okay? I don't know if it comes down to 2.8, but that is literally where I'm kind of like, yo, pay attention. 2.8 is not a bad bid zone. That's where I would kind of go in here. But if it comes down to 1.8, that is definitely where I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to put a little bit more than 10 SOL in here. Let's go ahead and put 20 to 25. I think it still has a potential to upside. This is a very interesting coin because it is not a coin that's going to kind of just completely die off. As more news comes out, I think this coin will eventually do pretty well. So I'm just kind of patiently waiting right now, see if it comes down to that range. That is where I'm bidding. I really like this coin a lot, and I think we'll do very, very well. The next one we have is HeavyPulp. Once again, very similar to the anime one. Right now, 6.7 K, 670, 76K. Not a bad bid zone. It came down to 600. Once again, not a bad bid zone. What I'm looking for is this beautiful entry, though. Can we please get something around 550 or within this range of 500? That is where I am kind of really bullish on. That I think we possibly get into this beautiful zone. Ideally, this is where we called it first, and it had a beautiful run all the way to a 10x. But this is the zone that we want, 560 to 500. That is what we want. Hopefully it comes down here. If it does come down here, we're bidding on this one. I think we'll do pretty well. We've called this coin multiple times, so we called it from this normal push all the way to 4 million. We called it all the way from here, all the way back to 1.2 to 1.5. We called it back here, so we're calling it again here in this beautiful pocket of 500 and 560. Hopefully it comes down, guys. So we're hoping around this range, and then we could probably get a nice little 3 to 4x once again. Potentially, hopefully we get a cross to all-time high on this one. The next one we have is another one I've been mentioning. This one I mentioned last week. Told you guys about aliens, and it did beautiful. Okay, the play on this one was beautiful with aliens. So we went really, really crazy on this one. All the way to almost 2 mil. It hit 1.9 mil, but 2 mil. A lot of people made a 7x, 8x on this play. Now, if you were following me in Boltz Alpha, we actually called this coin way before this run. We called it actually on the first run here, as you guys see the little alien edge here. So we called this very, very low to this 3 mil run. I think potentially this coin will break all-time high. It's just, you just want to make sure you get in at the right time. So you notice right here, it looks like we're not going to get this kind of like 4 to 300k entry again, but we might see the 600 entry again. That's where I kind of would be like, okay, if it comes down here, that's where I'm adding, and nice potential. Right now, it's kind of holding in this 900, 1 million range. So we're going to put this into 2 stages. 780 looks pretty good to me. Okay. 780 looks pretty good to me. So I would put this right here. I wish I could tell you guys, you know what? I know it's going to come down. I mean, for the people who are in it, I hope it doesn't come down. But for the people who are not in it, I hope it comes down, right? So around this range, 800 to 630, that's kind of like where you're going to want to start bidding if you're not in it. I still think the upside on this one could theoretically, okay, guys, not financial advice, can still give you a nice little 10x. I think this coin has potential to hit 10 mil. It just depends on how much alien news we get. Okay, so we want to keep that in mind. But in general, that is a beautiful bidding zone on this one. The next coins I'm going to be mentioning right now, these are a little bit more riskier. And in the sense I mean riskier, these could literally just not do anything. But sometimes they will have the potential of going up. The reason I'm mentioning them is because there is a potential. They are newer coins, so the community is not fully established there, but they're solid enough to actually do pretty well if there's a really good community forms around it, okay? So the first one I want to mention is called PIKAHORSE, and this reminds me very, very similar to the one that was previously on Bunk, I think it's FHK. Same concept, same thing. So what is it at right now? 297. I would not bid around here. I mean, if you want to throw some dust, you could probably throw some dust here under 300k. But I'm kind of looking to see if it comes down to like 200-ish, 250. I'll take a little bit of bid here, see what it does. If it goes up, awesome. If it doesn't go up, well, I'll put a nice stop loss if it goes below 100. Okay, so I'm willing to lose on these, but interesting, might do pretty interesting depending on what it does. The next one we have is called Aspen, and this is basically Ivanka Trump's dog. And if she ever runs for president or she does anything, this theoretically should go up. Right now it's at 443k. I would not bid there. I would kind of wait to see if we get something like around 300, 350, around 300 there. That's where I'll bid. If it comes down, it comes down. But I'm playing with the factor that something happens and it goes back up. So this one right here. And the last one we have is called Something. Okay, this Something. It's just plain Something. It's literally bottomed out. It ran up almost to 1 million, and it just kind of keeps coming down, coming down. This might not do anything. This might just go to zero, but it's almost at the point where it's like, bid on me. If I ever were to do something, that would be the time to do it. This one's a little bit more riskier than the previous two, but I kind of like to get in some coins, and you never know what happens, right? You never know what happens. So these are the ones that are like the super high risk. These are the ones I would kind of look at overall in general. But apart from that, those are the coins we actually spotted this week around. So let me know which coin you guys get into. Now, if you guys want to make sure you guys get like a 5x, 10x, make sure you guys join Boltz Alpha, link down below. On top of that, we stream every Tuesday and Thursday, giving you guys some alpha, and we've hit some really crazy runners, a 30x, a 20x, a 10x, 5x. So if you guys want to make sure you guys stop by and hang out on the stream every Tuesday and Thursday live on YouTube. So thank you guys for stopping by. Let me know which coin you guys end up picking up, and I will catch you guys on the next video.